As we look ahead to the 2025 NFL season, here are my win total and playoff projections for the NFC East.
And the Eagles are just decimating Kansas City.
The greatest Eagles team in modern history.
The reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles are projected to win 11 games and be the first team to win consecutive NFC East titles in more than 20 years. The Eagles went defense heavy in the draft, with each of their first 5 picks coming on that side of the ball. Jahad Campbell should have an instant impact in Vic Fangio's defense, especially paired with Zach Bond, who received an extension after his breakout 2024. Saquon Barkley led the league in rushing in his first season with the Eagles, becoming just the 9th player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards. What will he do for an encore in his second season in Philly?
Touchdown, Washington! Celebrate like it's 1991!
The Washington Commanders are projected to win 10.2 games and secure an NFC wildcard after their breakout 2024 season with new head coach Dan Quinn and Offensive Rookie of the Year quarterback Jaden Daniels. Washington scored more than 9 more points per game last season compared to 2023. Daniels elevated everyone around him and was able to extend plays with his legs.
Jaden Daniels does it again!
General Manager Adam Peters went all in on building around his young quarterback, trading for Deebo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil, and drafting another tackle, Josh Connerly Jr., in the first round. Assuming the Commanders can better protect Daniels in 2025, watch out.
All right, we some tough. Hell yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys are projected to win 7.2 games this season. Jerry Jones promoted Brian Schottenheimer to head coach after parting ways with Mike McCarthy. Dallas now has 2 explosive receivers after trading for George Pickens to pair with CeeDee Lamb, who has 100-plus receptions and at least 1,100 yards in 3 straight seasons.
The world knows. The world knows he can't cover you.
Dak Prescott returns after only playing 8 games last season. He had just 11 touchdowns in those 8 games and will need to put up big numbers for the Cowboys to be contenders this season. Micah Parsons needs to continue his dominance as a rusher after ranking 5th in the NFL in pressure last season despite missing 4 games.
Sacked! Micah Parsons came up like a runaway freight train.
The New York Giants are projected to win 5.4 games this season. The Giants selected Abdul Carter number 3 overall, and then traded back into the first round to select Jackson Dart 25th overall. Dart enters a quarterback room with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Wilson threw 16 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions in 11 games with Pittsburgh while leading them to the playoffs.
Good job. That's what he be dominant. Good job, baby. Let's go.
Whoever starts at quarterback will no doubt look to get Malik Neighbors the ball as often as possible. The spectacular rookie caught 109 passes for over 1,200 yards, and quality quarterback play should bring those numbers even higher in year 2.
And Malik Neighbors' neighborhood is a wonderful place to be.
That's how I have the NFC East playing out in 2025. Here are my win total and playoff projections for the NFC North.
Jameer down to the 10, Jameer to the 5, Jameer to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Can you smell it, Detroit? It smells like the NFC North.
The Detroit Lions are projected to win 10 games and the NFC North for the 3rd consecutive season.
Division winners, back-to-back seasons, and the number 1 seed.
This is my most hotly contested division in 2025, with the difference between first and last place being just 1.3 wins, meaning it's truly up for grabs. I have the Lions taking the division in large part because Jared Goff has grown into one of the league's best quarterbacks, ranking 3rd in completion percentage over expected last season, according to Next Gen Stats. Detroit's offense may take a slight step back with the departure of Ben Johnson, but the Lions are stacked with playmakers on that side of the ball. They'll be just fine.
Great job.
The defense, and specifically the pass rush, is where Detroit must show improvement to take the division again. Aiden Hutchinson is returning from injury to a unit that ranked 11th in pressure, but needs to turn more of those into sacks, where they tied for 23rd. The Green Bay Packers are projected to win 9 games and secure an NFC wildcard berth this season. That would be Matt LaFleur's 6th playoff appearance in 7 seasons as head coach.
Yes! Yes!
Green Bay wasn't too active in free agency after making a big splash last offseason, by signing Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney. They did draft Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden in the first round, the first wideout selected by the Packers in round 1 since Javon Walker in 2002. Adding Golden to a crowded wide receiver room, including Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, and Christian Watson, is an interesting storyline to see how opportunity shakes out, especially for fantasy football.
This is what he has been dreaming of. He wants to be that engine for the Chicago Bears.
The Chicago Bears and new head coach Ben Johnson are projected to win 8.9 games in 2025. Chicago immediately reworked almost their entire offensive line after agreeing on terms with Johnson, trading for Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson while signing Drew Dahlman in free agency. Having a quality O-line is crucial for Johnson to run his play-action-heavy offense. Protecting Caleb Williams is of the highest priority, as the Bears are hoping he makes a leap after he was pressured on more than 38% of dropbacks as a rookie. Part of this is on Williams, though, who must refrain from holding onto the ball too long. He gets himself in trouble that way, and Chicago needs to cut out those negative plays. Finding a way to get the run game going would also help on offense. The Minnesota Vikings are projected to win 8.7 games in 2025. It may be surprising to see the 14-win Vikings projected to regress by more than 5 games.
Keep talking! Keep talking! Keep talking! Keep talking! Keep talking!
But inserting an unproven starting quarterback adds uncertainty. J.J. McCarthy missed the entire 2024 season with a knee injury and will make his NFL debut in Week 1 after Sam Darnold signed with the Seahawks in free agency. McCarthy will have one of the best 1-2 combinations at wide receiver in the league, with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, plus a healthy TJ Hawkinson at tight end. He'll be put in a great position with Kevin O'Connell scheming up plays, but he needs to play well for the Vikings to make the playoffs in this loaded division. That is how I have the NFC North playing out in 2025. Here are my win total and playoff projections for the NFC South. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are projected to win 9.7 games and their 5th straight NFC South division title. Tampa finished 4th in points per game last season, in large part due to Baker Mayfield in the passing game. Mayfield leads the NFL in touchdown passes over the past 2 seasons. The Buccaneers added even more firepower by drafting Emeka Egbuka in the first round to add to Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan, and Chris Godwin as he returns from injury. I'm excited to see how the offense looks with second-year stud Bucky Irving in the backfield for new offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard after Liam Cohen took the Jaguars' head coaching job.
1,000 yards.
The Atlanta Falcons are projected to win 7.9 games this season with Michael Penix Jr. at the helm. Penix started the final 3 games in 2024, going 1-2. But both losses came in overtime. He leads an offense with elite playmakers in Bijan Robinson and Drake London. But Atlanta didn't do much to bolster that side of the ball this offseason. Instead, Terry Fontenot doubled down at pass rusher by selecting Jalen Walker 15th overall and then trading the team's 2026 first-round pick to draft James Pierce Jr. with the 26th pick. It's a definite area of need, as the Falcons haven't had a player with double-digit sacks since Vic Beasley Jr. back in 2016, and ranked 31st in pressure as a team a season ago.
Bijan trying to crack in the hole, he finds it! Touchdown Atlanta!
The Carolina Panthers are projected to win 7 games in 2025. Bryce Young played well after he was reinserted into the lineup, throwing 15 touchdowns to 6 interceptions while adding 5 more touchdowns on the ground as the Panthers went 4-6 down the stretch. Dan Morgan gave Young a new weapon by selecting Arizona wide receiver Teteroa McMillan 8th overall. They really need to fix the defense, though, as Carolina finished last in points and yards allowed, along with pressure rate last season.
Young is under center. Here's the snap. Sanders up the middle, charging through the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. The Panthers walk it off to end the season.
The New Orleans Saints are projected to win 5.3 games this season. Derek Carr recently retired due to a shoulder injury, giving rookie second-round pick Tyler Shuck the inside track to start this season. New head coach Kellen Moore will preside over a competition this summer between Shuck, Spencer Rattler, and Jake Haener. The Saints are going through a reset on offense, but the defense has multiple veteran players who can still get it done. New defensive coordinator Brandon Staley inherits guys like Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, and Tyrann Mathieu. They struggled a season ago, ranking 30th, but New Orleans ranked in the top half of the league on that side of the ball in each of the prior 6 seasons. That unit will need to lead the team for the Saints to be successful. That's how I have the NFC South playing out in 2025. Here are my win total and playoff projections for the NFC West.
Rock back and a throw for the end zone for Kittle. Touchdown! That's fun.
The San Francisco 49ers are projected to win 9.9 games and the NFC West in 2025.
Dub City!
Kyle Shanahan's team had won the division in consecutive years prior to finishing last in 2024. Not having Christian McCaffrey led to cascading problems throughout the offense. The 2023 Offensive Player of the Year appeared in just 4 games last season and did not score a touchdown. A healthy CMC will make a huge difference for an offense that traded away both Deebo Samuel and Jordan Mason. The 49ers defense lost a bunch of impact players, including Dre Greenlaw, Charvarius Ward, Javon Hargrave, Leonard Floyd, and Talanoa Hufanga. The return of Robert Saleh as defensive coordinator should help boost this unit, a boost they'll need if they're going to win the division. The Los Angeles Rams are projected to win 9.7 games and secure an NFC wildcard berth this season.
We just want a playoff game! Let's go!
LA went 9-3 after a 1-4 start to win the division in 2024 for the first time since 2021 when they won Super Bowl 56. Matthew Stafford agreed to a reworked contract that keeps him with the Rams after throwing 17 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions in his final 10 games of the season. The Rams' biggest offseason move was signing Davante Adams after letting Cooper Kupp leave in free agency. Adams played well in New York last season after his trade from the Raiders, amassing over 850 yards and 7 touchdowns in 11 games. Los Angeles also used their first pick on tight end Terrence Ferguson to give Stafford another weapon on offense.
Throws to the end zone. Touchdown! Seahawks! It's Jackson Smith and Jigba! He's second.
The Seattle Seahawks are projected to win 8.1 games in 2025. Seattle traded Geno Smith to the Raiders and signed Sam Darnold in free agency. It will be interesting to see if Darnold has the same success with new OC Clint Kubiak as he did with Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. It was a career year for the former top 3 pick, throwing for more than 4,300 yards and 35 touchdowns. Seattle had a big offseason outside of the Darnold acquisition as well, trading DK Metcalf to the Steelers and seeing the franchise's second leading receiver all time in Tyler Lockett sign with the Titans. John Schneider brought in Cooper Kupp to pair with Jackson Smith and Jigba while also signing DeMarcus Lawrence to bolster the pass rush. They also drafted quarterback Jalen Milroe in the 3rd round in case things don't work out with Darnold. The Arizona Cardinals are projected to win 8 games this season. Kyler Murray started every game in 2024 for the first time since 2020. And keeping him healthy again will be key. Second-year receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. will no doubt be a big part of the offense as the Cardinals look for him to make the leap.
First NFL score for Marvin Harrison Jr., the first of many to come.
Arizona used much of their resources this offseason to bolster the front 7 on defense, bringing Calais Campbell back and signing Josh Sweat, fresh off his 2.5 sack performance in Super Bowl 59 for the Eagles. They also spent their first-round pick on Walter Nolan of Ole Miss. The Cardinals finished last season 2-5 in their last 7 games. They need to finish strong in 2025 if they're going to make the playoffs for the first time since 2021. That's how I have the NFC West playing out in 2025. Here are my win total and playoff projections for the AFC East. I have the Buffalo Bills projected to win 11.4 games this season and take home the AFC East crown for the 6th straight season. Reigning MVP Josh Allen and company were excruciatingly close to their first Super Bowl appearance in more than 30 years last season. losing to the Chiefs for the 4th time in the last 5 postseasons. Allen was fantastic again in 2024, throwing 16 touchdowns to just 1 interception against the Blitz, according to Next Gen Stats. Brandon Beane has focused on the defensive side of the ball this offseason, signing Joey Bosa and using Buffalo's first 5 draft picks on that unit.
There's the snap. Handoff goes, no, it's an Allen keeper, and he's going to run it in. 17 is a scoring machine.
The Miami Dolphins are projected to finish 2nd in the AFC East with 8.3 wins. Miami has lost a few notable defenders this offseason, including Javon Holland and Calais Campbell. Chris Greer selected Kenneth Grant in the 1st round to fortify the interior of the line after losing Christian Wilkins in free agency last offseason, along with Campbell. Tua Tagovailoa missed 6 games due to injury last season, and Miami only won 2 of those games. If Tua is able to stay healthy in 2025, Mike McDaniel's offense could quickly be back among the league's most explosive, with Devon Achane, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle.
Tagovailoa gets it to Waddle. Full acceleration. Touchdown.
The New England Patriots are projected to win 8 games in their first season under Mike Vrabel. They've done a tremendous job this offseason building up the roster around second-year quarterback Drake May, who showed significant flashes last season, especially when not under pressure. The Patriots struggled to protect May, but when they did, he threw 10 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions with a 100.2 passer rating. The problem was May was pressured on more than 36% of dropbacks, 6th highest in the league. New England drafted Will Campbell 4th overall and Travion Henderson in the 2nd round to help alleviate said pressure. The additions of wide receivers Stephon Diggs and Kyle Williams should also help, not to mention their numerous adds on defense, including Milton Williams and Harold Landry.
May. There's a long ball down the right side and a touchdown pass on a perfect dime from Drake May.
The New York Jets are projected to win 6.2 games in 2025. The Jets signed Justin Fields to start at quarterback and form a potentially lethal rushing attack with Breece Hall for new head coach Aaron Glenn. Fields went 4-2 as a starter in Pittsburgh last season with a career-high completion percentage. He will need to continue his improvement as a passer for the Jets to make the playoffs. Glenn will also look to place his stamp on the Jets' defense, a unit that ranked 3rd overall last season. They had just 17 takeaways, though, tied for 20th in the league. So if Glenn can up that number a bit, it will make that unit even better.
Sauce Gardner interception, and that will put this game on ice.
That's how I have the AFC East playing out in 2025. Here are my win total and playoff projections for the AFC North.
Back of the end zone, touchdown Ravens! The Ravens close out the regular season as the AFC North champions.
The Baltimore Ravens are projected to win 11.6 games this season, win the AFC North, and have home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs.
Who's got it better than the champion? Nobody!
Lamar Jackson continues to improve even after winning 2 MVP awards, setting career highs with over 4,000 passing yards and 41 touchdown passes last season. He did all that while throwing just 4 interceptions. Derrick Henry is back for his 2nd season with the Ravens after rushing for over 1,900 yards in 2024. Henry and Jackson almost combined for 3,000 rushing yards to go with Jackson's over 4,000 passing. The offense will be prolific again under Todd Monken. Baltimore also added Malachi Starks in the 1st round on defense, creating a dynamic safety duo with Kyle Hamilton.
We take this division over. It's us. Let's go.
The Cincinnati Bengals are projected to win 9.1 games this season and secure an AFC wildcard. Joe Burrow led the league with over 4,900 yards and 43 touchdowns last season, while Jamar Chase pulled off the receiving triple crown with video game-style numbers. Cincinnati gave Chase his much-anticipated extension while also locking up running mate T. Higgins to a long-term deal. The Bengals' offense should be stacked again this season, but the defense is the big question mark after allowing more than 25 points per game in 2024. Cincinnati absolutely must get off to a better start this season, as Burrow is 1-9 in weeks 1 and 2 in his career. The Pittsburgh Steelers are projected to win 8.3 games in 2025.
We're the gatekeepers. Nothing goes in, nothing goes out without us. Let's control this up front. Let's get the job done.
Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season in his 18 seasons with Pittsburgh, and making it 19 straight will depend on quarterback play. The Steelers will have a different quarterback under center in Week 1 for the 5th straight season, as both Justin Fields and Russell Wilson moved on in free agency. Pittsburgh's big addition this offseason was acquiring DK Metcalf via trade from the Seahawks. They then turned around and dealt George Pickens to the Cowboys, meaning the passing game should run through Metcalf.
Touchdown! DK Metcalf!
The strength of the team will once again be on defense, with blue chippers TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick. The Steelers' interior D-line will also be tough after drafting Derek Harmon to pair with Cameron Hayward and Keanu Benton. The Cleveland Browns are projected to win 5.6 games this season. Cleveland's defense will look to bounce back after allowing 25.6 points per game in 2024, tied for 27th in the league, largely due to allowing 78 plays of 20-plus yards, second most in the league. Jim Schwartz's unit allowed the second fewest first downs, so if they can limit the big plays, Myles Garrett and company could turn it around in 2025 on that side of the ball. Deshaun Watson is expected to miss the entire 2025 season while recovering from a torn Achilles. Cleveland will have a 4-way quarterback competition between Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and their 2 draft picks Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. That's how I have the AFC North playing out in 2025. Here are my win total and playoff projections for the AFC South. The Houston Texans are projected to win 9 games and the AFC South for the 3rd straight season. CJ Stroud didn't take the leap in year 2 many expected, as his interception total more than doubled from 5 as a rookie to 12 in 2024. The quarterback struggled without his top target Nico Collins on the field, who missed 5 games with injury. Stroud's completion percentage was 9 points higher and averaged a yard more per attempt with Collins on the field. The Texans' wide receiver room was overhauled this offseason, with Stephon Diggs departing in free agency. It's also unlikely Tank Dell returns in 2025. So Houston traded for Christian Kirk and drafted Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel from Iowa State. They've also reworked almost their entire O-line this offseason after trading Laramie Tunsil to the Commanders and releasing Shaq Mason. They signed Cam Robinson, Trent Brown, and Laken Tomlinson, along with using a 2nd-round pick on an additional lineman.
And intercepted by Stingley. It's over. The Texans blow out the Chargers on Wild Card Weekend.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are projected to win 7.7 games in 2025. The Jags made the splash of the draft when they traded up for Colorado 2-way star Travis Hunter, pairing Hunter with the rookie sensation Brian Thomas Jr., who led the league in receiving yards over the final 4 weeks of 2024. New head coach Liam Cohen and quarterback Trevor Lawrence have the weapons needed for Jacksonville to take a leap on offense. The defense must keep up, though, after ranking 30th in pressure percentage a season ago. That must improve if the Jaguars are going to make the playoffs for the first time since 2022.
Fires it to the left side, corner of the end zone, caught! Touchdown, Brian Thomas Jr. for the score!
The Indianapolis Colts are projected to win 7.6 games this season. Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones will battle in training camp for the starting quarterback spot. Richardson completed fewer than half of his passes a season ago, the lowest in the league by almost 13 percentage points. He ranked 25th of 36 qualified passers in yards per attempt. However, he led the league in yards per completion at 14.4. If he can improve his accuracy just a bit and limit turnovers, the Colts will be in the thick of the AFC South race. The defense also needs to improve under new defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo after ranking 29th in yards allowed last season. The offense leaning more into the running game and sustaining drives would help Indy find a winning formula.
They feed into the belly of Jonathan Taylor. Big run, breaks it out. He's at the 50. He's at the 40. He's got one man to beat. He may go 10, 5, touchdown, 65 yards.
The Tennessee Titans are projected to win 5.8 games in 2025. The Titans selected Cam Ward with the #1 pick in the draft. Ward excelled on intermediate passes at Miami, a place where Calvin Ridley also excels. Ridley tallied 495 yards on such receptions last season, good for 7th in the NFL. New GM Mike Borgonzi and second-year head coach Brian Callahan's main goal this season will be to bring along Ward and know they have their guy at quarterback moving forward. Then they'll be able to build around him the way we saw so many teams build around their second-year quarterbacks this offseason.
I'm excited to see him at the next level. He's going to be able to expand the playbook, not only the play as it's designed, but his ability to extend and create as well. As he mentioned the other day, he gets to go play with his favorite players in Calvin Ridley and company, who he shouted out the other night.
That's how I have the AFC South playing out in 2025. Here are my win total and playoff projections for the AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs are projected to win 11.2 games and their 10th straight AFC West crown. I do have some regression from their 15-2 season in 2024, as they can't continue to win every close game forever, or maybe they can. Kansas City went 12-0 in one-possession games last season, including the AFC Championship. And their 17 consecutive wins in one-possession games are the most by any team in NFL history. After a second Super Bowl loss that was eerily similar to their first Super Bowl loss, the Chiefs again utilized resources at tackle, signing Jalen Moore in free agency and selecting Josh Simmons in the first round of the draft. Patrick Mahomes threw for fewer than 4,000 yards for the first time in his career as a starter last season. And Kansas City needs to give him more help if they're going to lift another Lombardi.
Mahomes stepping up again, tries to throw, late caught, touchdown, Kansas City!
The Denver Broncos are projected to win 9.5 games and secure an AFC wildcard berth this season. Denver made a surprise playoff appearance in just Sean Payton's second season as head coach by winning 5 of their final 7 games, as their offense grew under rookie quarterback Bo Nix. The Broncos scored at least 24 points in each of their final 7 games. Denver added tight end Evan Ingram on offense to give Payton a chess piece he can move around the board. The Broncos added multiple playmakers in Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga to an already loaded defense, and then drafted Jahdae Barron to an already stacked secondary, including Patrick Surtain. Denver could be a real problem for teams if Bo Nix makes a leap in 2025.
Bounced up into the air, bounced again, and then caught by Devon Vele. Touchdown, Denver!
The Los Angeles Chargers are projected to win 9.3 games and, for the second consecutive season, give the AFC West 3 playoff teams. LA won 11 games in Jim Harbaugh's first season and have been active this offseason, bringing Mike Williams back, signing Mekhi Becton, and drafting Omarion Hampton and Trey Harris to help Justin Herbert, who threw just 3 interceptions all season. The Chargers had just 9 giveaways last season. The Chargers released Joey Bosa and also lost Poona Ford in free agency. We all know Jim Harbaugh wants to control the line of scrimmage, but this may be an issue for the defense in 2025. Playing their style and getting leads early will be critical for LA this season.
Quentin Johnston with a one-handed catch. I mean, the stars came out to play.
The Las Vegas Raiders are projected to win 7.4 games this season under new head coach Pete Carroll. Las Vegas and new minority owner Tom Brady have undergone a bunch of change this offseason, with Carroll and new OC Chip Kelly joining, while trading for Geno Smith and drafting Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty 6th overall. Jeanty should immediately bolster a run game that ranked last in the league a season ago. The Raiders' 11 total draft picks are tied for the most of any team, which will help a speedy transition under Carroll. Smith has played well the last couple of seasons in Seattle, especially when he's been kept clean from pressure. Las Vegas's ability to do that will factor heavily into this team's ceiling.
You know, the silver and black, all the nostalgia when you think about just, the NFL. The Raiders is a big part of that, and we're here to win. We're here to do this thing the right way.